written and narrated by Adrian Onyando. Part 1, Chapter 8, Highway on the Seabed. It was a vast blue sky that the animals saw, and then it arched and became one with the land in the horizon. At last they had reached the great sea. It was a vast expanse of very blue water mass, something that the animals had not seen before. Would it be their destination? No, it was only a stage. On its shores, the animals rested their limbs and marveled at its beauty. The robin chat took her papyrus, which was very dry now, pushed it into the water, and perched herself on it. It sailed with her so gracefully that the sisticola also came to share in the fun. Soon the water birds flocked to the reed until it started listing dangerously. "My reed is not Noah's Ark," complained the robin chat. The reed capsized, and many birds found themselves in the water, splashing and fluttering, hooting and snorting. It was such a great fun for them being in the water than being on the reed. "Look at me," said the duck as he outswam the goose. The goose dived and exploded onto the surface well ahead of the duck, with some small fish in its beak. The animals cheered and joined the birds, and they laughed as they had fun and in the blue water. But soon they were tired of swimming. Prince Lion said, "Now we must cross the sea." The animals looked for ways of crossing the sea, but could not find any. The vastness of the sea intimidated them. "What are we going to do?" asked the hippo. "This is neither a river to wade through, nor a lake to swim across." "Forget about the north," said the hyena. "Let's get back to the savannah." The hyena sobbed. "Oh, savannah, heart of the wild, our ancestral home where lions roam. Bones white as snow scattered on the ground pave the way where life can be found. In the heart of the wild where lions roam, we return to the savannah, our ancestral home. Bones white as snow scattered on the ground, they pave way where life can be found." Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. A symphony of laughter in the air, we dance with the hyenas without a care. Ha 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 ha. Under the moonlit sky, we sing and play, return to the savannah where joy finds its way. Valleys stretching wide, where spirits reside, their whispers echo in the winds that glide. Water flows from dead trees, a gift from the past, quenching the thirst of each creature amassed. Ha 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 ha. A symphony of laughter in the air, we dance with the hyenas without a care. Ha 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 ha. Under the moonlit sky, we sing and play, return to the savannah where joy finds its way. In this untamed paradise, we find our bliss. Side by side, the hyenas and the lioness. Together we thrive in this rhythmic embrace. Nature's symphony, echoing through time and space. Ha 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 ha. A symphony of laughter in the air, we dance with the hyenas without a care. Ha 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 ha. Under the moonlit sky, we sing and play, return to the savannah where joy finds its way. Oh, how happy are the hyenas as they roam. In the savannah, they have carved their own home. Ha 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 ha. With each joyful moment, the laughter will soar, returning to the savannah forevermore. "Stop it," commanded Prince Lion. "That is a sickening song of homesickness." Ogila the hare added a line to his magical chant. "Rain or sunshine, bees or flies, bones or hyenas, sea or land. The north is our destination," chorused back the animals. Grandma Tata came forward in confident steps and said, "I know what we are going to do." The animals gathered around her, seeing her as the greatest hope for Christmas since Karhu invited them to the north. "I was with Moses when he divided the sea," she said. There was silence. "I also have the rod and the magic words he used. Drumbeats, trumpets, roaring, whistling, hissing, and piping filled the air. Moses was a wonderful man and a fine magician, went on Tatas. He learnt about the art of dividing the sea from the savannah. When the earth divided into many pieces which we now call continents, the animals were cut off from a huge chunk of the land by the seas. But there was no means of transport on the water. Those floating pieces of wood that men called ships had not been made. It was the art of dividing the sea that made it possible for people to spread all over the earth from the savannah. Moses cut the rod from the sun tree and used it to divide the sea for people who were going on holiday in Canaan. He was in that trade for a long time, and the Pharaoh of Egypt didn't like it. Now, when the Israelites in Egypt wanted to go on holiday and leave their work unattended, the Pharaoh refused. But Moses was stubborn in his trade. It was better seeing a whole population on holidays than obey the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh announced that Moses was the most wanted man, and whoever captured him would have the whole of River Nile. You see, Grandma Tortoise said, rummaging through her bag. After dividing the sea, Moses didn't want the road because it would tempt him to cross back to Egypt. And you can imagine what would happen if he did that. I was with him in Canaan, and I needed the road then to come back to the savannah. So I took it. It belonged to the savannah anyway. Who else had used it? Asked curious squirrels, desiring to hear more stories. The first people to use it were the northerners, the ancestors of Karhu the bear. Ofino Owino, son of Osuome, was the great ancestor who led the people to the north, and when he became old, he passed the road to the young Vaino. Vaino stayed for a long time without marrying, and later he had problems finding a suitable bride. His people were the first to leave the savannah, and we are actually following in their steps. We are keeping to the path. And now, Grandma Tatas brought out the road, and the animals gasped in excitement. It was a smooth, shining stick with decorations, pictures of animals, and signs on it. Tatas carried the road aloft and said some magical words, and then the sea divided. There before the animals was a highway on the seabed. The animals trooped onto the dry highway, heading to the north, and the waters were a wall to them on the right and on the left, and a windbreaker in front and behind. And because there was nobody pursuing them, the animals sang happy songs that echoed on the walls and all the way to the shores in front and behind. The sun behind was setting in the womb of the sea and throwing all colors of the rainbow on the animals. The animals really enjoyed the colorful sights, and with their mouths agape, you think they were feeding on the colors. The walls were like glass panes of a vast aquarium, through which they could see the graceful dolphin playing and dancing to the sound of distant waves. The seals on some island rocks basked in the weak sunlight. The sharks hunted and ate greedily, setting the fishes on a flight as speedy as that of a flock of migrating birds. Some animals of the sea came close to the sea highway. "What a long caravan," said the whale, peering at the animals through the wall of the water. "And heading in the wrong direction." "What do you mean?" asked Prince Lion. "It is rather cold where you are going. I'm going to the south myself." "It is the cold that we want," said the lion. "We are going to visit Bear in the snow, a friend that we seek to know." "And what creature is that?" asked, pointing to the elephant with his fins. "That is the elephant, the hefty one who walks side by side with the daring rhino." The lion introduced the giraffe and the hippo too, so as to scare the whale in case he wanted to attack the animals. But the whale was only curious. "What is it that he is carrying?" he asked, edging closer to the elephant. "It is so pleasantly warm." "That, my friend, is the forge where gifts are made," said Prince Lion. "Welcome to the forge," said the hare. We are warm-blooded animals and we also carry warm things with us. Many sea animals crowded around the forge. Aha, said the whale. We may need to turn the forge into a sauna where heat is made. It is so cold, isn't it? The animals of the sea replied, yes, it is. Then let's turn northwards and stay close to the forge, said the whale. Some sea animals said yes, while others said killer, yaw, ya, yep, yaw, oi, si, ken, ne, ni, da, iye, nin, according to their many tongues. Their words made the savannah animals have a hearty laughter, or some of their words for yes meant no in the savannah tongues, while others were just funny. All the sea animals kept the savannah party company, staying close to the forge. When the party reached dry land again, Grandmother Tata's carried her rod aloft, and the walls joined, and the sea became one again. The sea animals were disappointed, for they had to leave the warmth of the forge on the shores. How they wished they could join in the trek on the land. They looked tearfully as the savannah animals walked away. They had become such warm friends. Long time ago, Grandmother Tata explained, the sea animals had made a pact with the sea to keep her company, and the sea in turn would provide for all their needs. If the sea left them, she would die, and if they left the sea, they too would die. No one wanted to die, so the sea was always there, and the whales, the dolphins, and other residents always kept to the sea or very close to her. Only in a few cases would some fish land in a beach or jump out of the water, but that was when they wanted to commit suicide. Grandma, asked the curious squirrels, do the sea animals commit suicide? Yes, it is not common, but just a fish. Sometimes a fish jumps out of water and dies just like a human jumps into the water and dies. The squirrels were quite puzzled by this. The sea was so beautiful that they couldn't understand how a resident would want to leave it for good. Ogila the hare asked the grandma to give him the rod, and he studied it in his workshop. He fondled its smooth surface and marveled at the decorations. I'm going to use some of these decorations on a gift, thought Ogila. Then he was struck by some discovery. The decorations were so similar to the ones in the Legend of the Sun. How come? Ogila studied the rod until morning, when he returned it to Grandma Tata's with quite a few questions which no one could answer. Later on, he wrote in his diary, there is something special about Tata's rod. It is a mystery now, but I'll try to find it out. Tata's doesn't know much about the rod, though she tells stories about it. God, it makes me feel like calling her store. She stores so much knowledge, but doesn't know how to sort it out. Anyway, the mystery of the rod may be connected to our fate in this foreign land.